Hi, I'm Gary O'Neill. In our previous video, we talked about resume in a bottle, which is the story of how having a great resume is important, but it's simply not enough. It doesn't solve the whole problem of how to get to the front of the line and how to hear back from employers. We also talked about how job seeking is a skill set, and it's a skill set that everyone can learn. Now, we've identified 8 specific skills that it takes to get to the front of the line in the open jobs phase. We're going to go into each of those in detail in this video. The first key skill to get to the front of the line in the open jobs phase is, without question, your ability to craft a compelling talent brand. If you don't do anything other than create a compelling talent brand, you're miles ahead of the competition. Now, you see, the fact is that if you fit in a crowded marketplace, you're essentially invisible. And what I see a lot of job seekers doing is trying to say the same things as other people, copying other resumes, and essentially talking about their background. Let me ask you this. Think for just a moment about how you introduce yourself. Imagine for a moment that you're introducing yourself to a potential hiring manager. Listen carefully to the words that you say. I know it might sound silly, but take a couple of seconds right now and introduce yourself to a hiring manager. I'll wait. So how did that feel? If you're like most people, what you did was you took a title that you used to have and you wore that, and you talked about a company you used to work for and the tasks that you performed. Quite frankly, that's boring. What you really need to do is you need to talk about who you are in a way that paints a very clear picture in the other person's mind. It needs to talk about the problems that you solve, who you solve them for, and you need to quantify the results that you achieve, or at least quantify the scope of the work that you did. Let me give you a before and an after example. I'm going to read you a couple of things. First, we're going to look at the before of someone's, basically their statement of the way they'd introduce themselves. I'm a seasoned IT professional with 15 years of experience. I was at XYZ Corporation for the last 4 years doing business process automation, enterprise application integration, requirements analysis, workflow design, and software development. Before that, I was at blah, blah, blah. Have you fallen asleep yet? I mean, quite frankly, that's what everyone says. It's boring. It's not interesting. Where did this person work? What kind of projects did they do? It simply doesn't paint a picture. So let's take a look at the after example of this same person and see if it doesn't make a difference. I'm a senior software engineer and an expert in complex data modeling. I create easy-to-use forecasts from the information locked away in mounds of corporate data. The work I've done has added millions of dollars to the bottom line. I lead small, agile software development teams, but spend most of my time as a hands-on developer with expert skills in C++, PHP, SQL, and Linux, to name but a few. The difference is night and day. At least it is to me, and it's going to be to all of the recruiters and the hiring managers. The skill to create a compelling talent brand is probably the most important of all the skills to get to the front of the line in the open jobs phase. So the second key skill is to eliminate the job seeker mindset. You see, people will never hire you because you're a job seeker. They'll hire you because you're a problem solver. So I want you to do a little exercise with me. I know it's going to seem a little silly, but do it with me. Say, I am a job seeker and I need a job. Say it. I'm a job seeker. I need a job. Doesn't feel great, does it? It's certainly not empowering, and it doesn't come across as attractive or appealing to anyone. So let's try something that's better. Now I want you to say, I am a problem solver and I create results. Go ahead and try it. I'm a problem solver and I create results. Say it out loud. Okay, so which one sounds better? Which one feels better? There's really no question that if you can put on the mindset of a problem solver instead of a job seeker, you'll come across as much more powerful, much more confident, and you're going to get a better job faster. Key skill number 3 is to craft a resume that tells a cohesive story. 98% of all resumes are exactly the same in the sense that each piece of the work history is disjoint from the other. They don't all tie together, and they don't support your overall talent brand summary that talks about who you are, who you help, and the kinds of problems that you solve. So to create a cohesive resume, it all starts with your talent brand. It all comes back to that. You put that at the top of your resume. And then each one of the items in your work history, they're not their own standalone story. They're simply a chapter in your overall story. And for each item in your work history, the bullet points that are there, each one of those bullet points needs to support your talent brand summary. If you find a bullet point in your work history that doesn't, you've really identified one of two problems. Either one, it really is important and you've identified something that's missing in your talent brand summary. So you need to add that to your talent brand summary. The other possibility is that that item or the bullet just doesn't support your talent brand summary. And even though it might seem interesting, you need to eliminate it from your resume. It'll certainly be an interesting item in the interview once you get there at the front of the line.